Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. And what a year this has been. We're almost at the end of the 2024 elections. And I appreciate that stirring up a lot of anxieties, a lot of nervousness among so many people who wonder, well, what do we do if the election outcome does not go the way that we want? I appreciate how difficult this could be for a lot of Americans. And I keep thinking about a woman that I met about a year ago in New Hampshire. She said that if Donald Trump does not win the election, she hopes she dies. I hope that everybody can keep some things in perspective. And so what I want to do is I want to play for you the exchange that I had with this woman and then offer you some thoughts on the backside. Watch. Tell me about if Donald Trump does not win, what do you do?
I hope that I'm going to die.
You want to die if Donald Trump doesn't win?
I do. I don't want to live like this anymore. You like our country the way it is now?
I mean, it doesn't really matter what I think, but you've got a pretty good life. You got nice clothes on, you got hat on, sunglasses, you got your health. I mean, the country's done pretty well by you, right?
No, the country hasn't done anything by me. I've done everything for myself. My husband and I took care of ourselves as we grew older. Now, when we got ready to retire, we had planned what we were going to do. Now, what is the country doing for me now? Do I get any interest on anything that I put away and saved?
Well, your money is safe, right?
I wouldn't say that.
You got access to health care?
I have access to health care because my husband served 20 years in the military.
So the military did something for your family. The military is trustworthy, right? I mean, the military health care system's great.
No, I wouldn't say it's great. We were promised free health care for our whole life, but that did not happen.
What is it that is so bad about where America is or where you are right now with America that you would want to die if Donald Trump doesn't win?
I just don't want to live in a country that is screwed up as this one, that people are so out of control and that they think that everything that they're entitled to everything. What do you think about the stealing that's going on right now?
What do you mean stealing?
People walk into stores and just can walk out with stuff.
Well, crime is a problem, but there's also a lot of places where people have to...
Crime is increasing every day.
Actually, the data shows it's not.
Well, I don't care what the data shows. You and I can't talk to each other because you have a totally different idea of what's going on than what I have.
So what do you trust?
I trust Donald Trump. I trust Donald Trump, and what really upsets me the most is everybody remembers that one little blip that Billy Bush put out there when he first started to run.
About grabbing the...
Yeah, that's the...
I mean, that was pretty memorable.
Well, why is that memorable? Why isn't it memorable the things that he did do?
Well, he's been indicted in 4 different cases and 91 criminal charges.
None of that stuff is true. You know it's not.
I don't know whether it's true or not. I just know that. No, I just know that
a non-Trumper?
No, I'm just a journalist who sees that he's been in. I mean, so how do you explain all these charges? How do you explain all? What's going on?
They're all made up.
They're all made up.
Yep, they're all made up.
So the election interference in Georgia, Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro, who worked for Donald Trump as lawyers, they just pled guilty and admitted.
I don't believe that either.
You don't believe they pled guilty?
Nope.
So when they said that they were...
I never turn on the news. I never turn on the TV. I never listen to any of that.
So where do you get your information if you don't watch the news?
I get my information from Telegram.
From Telegram. Are there any liberal or progressive voices on Telegram?
I don't have any idea.
There are not. Is it important to hear from people who have a different point of view than you?
I'd like to sit down with a liberal someday and have them tell me what it is that they think is so great about what's going on right now. But they won't talk to you about it.
What particular issue would you like to talk about?
I don't know. What do you think is so great about what's going on right now?
I think what's so great is that people who are in the United States now have more opportunities than anywhere else around the world.
When's the last time you paid for a loaf of bread?
I just went to the store the other day, and I was glad to see that inflation is down.
Oh, no. We can't talk anymore.
Unemployment is down. My 401k is doing great. Your 401k is doing great. The markets are awesome.
No. I can't even see. That's why I can't talk to a liberal.
Well, if we can't talk to each other, what are we going to do?
Well, we're not going to do anything because I'm leaving.
She wants to die. She wants to die. I'm hoping that woman that I met in New Hampshire was speaking figuratively and not literally. And I want to get to a couple of points related to this. First of all, I think many of you know where I stand. If Donald Trump wins this election and Kamala Harris loses, yes, I'm going to be devastated. It's going to be horrific. I'm going to go through all the stages of grief. I can't even imagine the conversation that I'm going to have with my kids to try to explain how Donald Trump won election again after all the horrible things that he has said. I'm going to have to explain to my kids what American society views of the truth and whether truth still matters or not. And I think the truth still matters, although we may not see that validated with these election results. So yeah, I'm going to be infuriated if Donald Trump wins. But I'm not going to flee the country. I'm not going to wish for death for me or for anybody else. I'm going to keep living my life. And I think it's important for all of us to take a step back, because in life, we all deal with things that don't go the way we want. We have siblings, we have parents, we have friends, we have relatives who have to deal with sickness or death. We have unexpected things, terrible things that happen to us. We have losses, we have personal and professional setbacks. But it's human nature to, I think, for most of us, to get up. You pull yourselves back up and you remember that happiness is up to you. And I would just remind everybody that throughout the course of human history, there have been some horrific things that have happened throughout human history. Slavery in the United States, Holocaust during World War II. It goes on and on and on. And yet, you can find examples of people who were going through the absolute worst in terms of the society around them, and even in their own personal lives. And yet, they were still able to find moments of happiness, maybe even more than moments of happiness, because they chose to find that happiness. And they decided they were not going to let horrific circumstances around them dictate everything about how they were feeling. And I think there's some great lessons. Now, I'm not suggesting that if Kamala Harris wins or Donald Trump wins, we approach anything similar to what some human beings have had to face throughout human history. And even though I do feel that Donald Trump is an existential threat to America and represents all the sort of things that America has been fighting against and that we lost millions of soldiers throughout the years to try to protect, and Donald Trump, his election would essentially undermine and undercut that. Yes, that's how big I think the stakes are. But I think even if Donald Trump were to win, and it's something that I don't want, I still have the ability, with me and my family and my friends, to create the sort of life that I want. And even if Donald Trump decides to start rounding up my immigrant friends or people who are not here registered legally, yeah, that's going to be terrible. And the creation of immigration camps will be horrific. But I also think there are ways that we can sort of fight that and stop that before it actually gets to that ultimate point that Donald Trump wants. And that by being here, by being part of the system, by being part of the process, that matters. And by fighting for the things we believe in and standing up for what we think is right, to me, that's one of those things that will help me with my happiness. And I hope that will help all of you. And so this woman who we met in New Hampshire, she doesn't want to live she doesn't like the way society is going. Well, okay, then work to change it. Be part of the change. Try to influence people around you and your community leaders and your lawmakers to do things the way that you want, and engage in a vigorous debate with people you disagree with me or whoever else. But the important thing is, don't give up. Don't say, oh my goodness, life is over. Life isn't worth living if Donald Trump wins or if Kamala Harris wins. And by the way, there are a lot of things about Kamala Harris that I don't agree with. There are a lot of things about the process over the past year that I've not agreed with. I wish there had been a Democratic primary system. I wish that Joe Biden had decided a year ago that he was not going to run, and we had an open primary in the Democratic Party. And we were able to flesh this out. Well, we didn't. And there's some things about the way Kamala Harris has handled various issues that I'm not happy about. But you're never going to find perfection with anything in life. There's nothing in life that's perfect. There's nothing in politics that's perfect. We have to make the best of the decision that's in front of us. And to me, the decision is, okay, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris, despite some misgivings that I have about her and about some of her policies. But to me, the alternative is a lot worse. And by being part of this process, by voting, by being part of the election, by having my voice heard, that gives me some satisfaction. And so my lesson to everybody is I get how anxious, how nervous, how frustrated people may be over the next week across the political spectrum. I suppose the election could go either way. I'm pretty certain that Kamala Harris is going to win, but I know that Donald Trump supporters are also certain that Donald Trump is going to win. A big portion of the United States electorate is going to be really disappointed right after this election once it gets settled. And I just hope that everybody takes some things in perspective, takes a deep breath, and realizes you get to define your life. You get to define your happiness not by who is the president of the United States, or necessarily what country you're living in, or even what kind of society that country is creating. In your own community, your own family, that's where you should find the ultimate happiness and satisfaction in your life. And for everybody, I would just say, take a deep breath after the election, whether the results go your way or not. Take a deep breath, and then remember, I think one of the great things that will endure in the United States, even if the outcome is not what we want, I think our ability to influence politics, to influence our society, even if it's on a local level, on a state level, and even if we feel, oh my goodness, I give up when it comes to the federal government, the Supreme Court, the U.S. Congress, the White House, I give up. And what Donald Trump has done with abortion rights and what they're doing to immigrants, yeah, that's going to be horrible. But we also have an ability with the interactions that you and I have in our own communities, with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors, to make our lives better. And I just hope people remember that and remember the big picture. We have the power, we have the authority in here, the ability in here to make our lives happier. Our happiness should not depend on this president or that president being elected, or this party or that party winning. Our happiness is up to us. And I just hope people remember the kind of control that you have and keep that in mind if you get the sort of results that you don't like on election day. So I've droned on and on and on. And that will end it for this special video on Rebel HQ. I'm David Shuster. Good luck with this election. Thanks for watching.